think about the Australian painters who really are the mainstays of Australian modern art. I'm talking about Nolan, Smart, Brack, Whiteley, and Fred Williams. I think of the most engaging, or which of those artists do I have an understanding is the best? I now think of Arthur Boyd as probably the most interesting painter, interesting artist of the late part of the 20th century in Australia. And that is because his work never ever fails to sit still. It continues to develop, it continues to draw, it continues to actively and almost aggressively plumb psychological depths. It plumbs family history, it plumbs public history. Of the three Boyd paintings in our auction, the most important and the most engaging is his 1958 Death of a Husband. Interestingly enough, if you look at the history of Boyd at the Australian art market, we know that Boyd is quite a productive painter, and he regularly has sold a number of paintings at prices in excess of $1 million. 4 of the 5 paintings that achieved $1 million plus are paintings from the same series as our Death of a Husband. They were all painted in 1958, and they all belong to the series known as the Bride series. The Bride paintings were all part of a series of paintings where Boyd was taking influence from Picasso, but more importantly from Chagall. And you can see it in Boyd's use of floating figures. This is the most obvious reference to Chagall's work. But what you're also seeing is a very high engagement and a high level of emotional engagement in these paintings. After the energy exertion of producing these paintings, Boyd would try to find a means of refreshing himself. And landscape painting, plein air landscape painting, and in particular I think the Wimmera paintings were his way of resetting himself. The Wimmera paintings represent one of the bookends for Boyd. On the one hand, we have these highly wrought personal sagas, constructed paintings, and on the other hand, we have these reflective, poetic, and gentle and passive paintings. They both are vitally important in an understanding of Arthur Boyd's art. And the Wimmera painting example that we have in our auction, Landscape with White Bird, is a very fine example of his Wimmera type of paintings from the later part of his career.